good day. I'm Rocher Cruz, and today I'm going to present to you my Science Quarter 3 Project 2. What is nervous system? The nervous system uses both electrical and chemical means to send and receive messages, a highly complex part of an animal that coordinates its actions and sensory information by transmitting signals to and from different parts of its body. The basic building block of the nervous system is a nerve cell, or neuron. Neurons are shaped differently depending on where they are in the body and what role they play. The brain alone has about 100 billion of neurons in it. All neurons have finger-like projections called dendrites and a long fiber called an axon. In many cases, the axon is coated by a specialized membrane called a myelin sheath. The axon feathers out and has a numbers of bumps on it. Each bump sits near a dendrite from another neuron. The space between the bump and the dendrite is called a synapse. Messages jump the synapse from one neuron to the next using special chemicals called neurotransmitters. Unlike other cells in the body, neurons aren't easily replaced if they die or are damaged by infection or injury. The nervous system is divided into two: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. First, let's talk about central nervous system. The central nervous system, CNS, is responsible for integrating sensory information and responding accordingly. The central nervous system is made up of the brain, cerebellum, and the spinal cord. They are wrapped in a thin lining called meninges and bathed with cerebrospinal fluid or CSF. Parts of the CNS, the spinal cord. The spinal cord directs signals from the brain to the body and is capable of controlling simple reflexes without transmitting information from the brain. The brain. The brain processes most of the body's sensory information and is responsible for coordinating conscious and unconscious body functions, including feeling, thinking, and maintaining homeostasis, which is the body's ability to maintain a stable environment. The brain is made up of three regions: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. The brain and the spinal cord share some key anatomic features. Living nervous tissue has the consistency of jelly and requires special protection from physical damage. The entire CNS is encased in bone. The brain is within the cranium, while the spinal cord runs within a canal through the vertebrae. Within its bony case, the entire CNS is bathed in a cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, a colorless fluid produced by special structures in the brain. CSF provides a special chemical environment for nervous tissue as well as an additional buffer against physical damage. The special chemical environment of the nervous tissue is maintained by the relatively impermeable membranes of capillaries in the CNS. This feature is known as the blood-brain barrier. There are two general types of tissue in the CNS. Gray matter consists of nerve cell bodies, dendrites, and axons. Neurons in gray matter organize either in layers as in cerebral cortex or as clusters called nuclei. White matter consists mostly of axons, causing it to look white due to the myelin sheathing of the axons. The forebrain. The highest region of the brain is the cerebellum, which includes both the cerebral cortex that is visible on the outside of the brain as well as the other internal structures. The forebrain works to process the information needed to complete complex cognitive tasks. The parts of the forebrain are responsible for sensory functions, voluntary motor skills, speech, and critical thinking. It also controls homeostasis, which is maintained through regulation of body temperature, blood pressure, pleasure, pain, hunger, and thirst, as well as hormone production. The midbrain. The midbrain connects the forebrain and the hindbrain and carries the important job of connecting the brain to the spinal cord. It processes sounds and sights and works to control the movement of the eye. Above the midbrain lies the diencephalon, which is composed of two major parts. The thalamus processes and integrates all sensory information going to the higher regions of the brain, and the hypothalamus is critical for homeostasis, the maintenance of the body's internal environment. It influences nervous control of all internal organs and also serves as the master regulator of endocrine function by its control over the pituitary gland. The hindbrain. The hindbrain is responsible for muscular movement, respiratory rhythm, heart rate, blood pressure, sleep, and staying alert while awake. Involuntary reflexes like sneezing and swallowing are also controlled by the parts of the hindbrain. In the early embryo, the CNS forms as a relatively uniform tube. The major regions of the brain develop as enlargements at the head end of this tube. The medulla oblongata appears as a swelling at the upper end of the spinal cord. Besides being a conduit for fibers running between the spinal cord and higher regions of the brain, it contains control centers for involuntary functions. Just above the medulla are the pons and cerebellum. The pons relays information between higher regions of the brain and the cerebellum, which processes sensory information and helps coordinate movement. The next division of the nervous system is peripheral nervous system. Nerves make up the peripheral nervous system, PNS, which works to send signals to and from the CNS, the body's organs, muscles, and senses. The PNS is broken into somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system is made up of motor neurons and sensory neurons that help the body perform voluntary activities. Autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is made of neurons that work to connect the CNS with the body's internal organs. It is divided into two parts, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system stimulates what is known as the fight or flight response in the body. It prepares the body's energy for stressful or energy-exerting activities. Parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, works to conserve energy. It signals the body conserve its energy while it sleeps and relaxes.
Here is my illustration for the parts of the nervous system. Parts of the CNS. We have the brain and the spinal cord. Parts of the brain: cerebrum, cerebellum. Inside of the brain is the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, and the thalamus. Here is the brain stem, which consists of medulla oblongata, pons, and midbrain. Here in the spinal cord, we have the cervical vertebrae from here to here, and the thoracic vertebrae from here to there. In the parts of the peripheral nervous system, which consists of nerves, we have cervical, bronchial-plexus, musculocutaneous, here, radial, median, ulnar, sciatic, superficial peroneal, femoral, tibial, saphenous, lumbar vertebrae, sacrum, common peroneal, and then deep peroneal. Now that we know the parts and functions of the nervous system, how do we receive, process, and interpret the information in our environment? An example for that is if you touch a hot plate, you reflexively pull back your hand and your nerves simultaneously send pain signals to your brain. From here, when your nerves sense the hot plate you just touched, they send signals to other neurons and pass that signal to other neurons until it reaches your brain. And the hindbrain is the one responsible for that reflex when you touch the hot plate. Dendrites act like an antenna, then pass the signal to the cell body, and the cell body passes the signal to the axons. It's just like a childhood game, pass the message, but a more complex version. Our nervous system is very important, so we must take good care of it. How do we do so? First is exercise on a daily basis. Exercising doesn't really mean that you need to get out and start running. It simply means to pick up a crossword puzzle and put your brain to work for the next 10 minutes. This smartly activates your nervous system and makes it perform essential functions. Neurologists suggest that taking up such activities actuates the nerve's receptors to respond to even the slightest of actions and aids in fighting conditions like paralysis, stroke, memory losses, etc. It further helps in adding flexibility, resilience, and sharpens one's memory. Second is get plenty of sleep. Sleep plays a vital role in enhancing your mental health, physical health, and safety. If you do not take a proper sleep, etc., for example, a minimum of 8 hours a day of sleep, you might develop some chronic conditions which may affect the way you think, react, learn, and converse with others. Sleep helps the central nervous system work properly. Moreover, as regular sleep schedule aids in learning and remembering information much more easy and convenient. Sleep disorders can put you at risk of developing diabetes, heart failure, high blood pressure, cholesterol trouble, etc. Third is expose your body to sunlight. Studies have shown us that sun reduces the risk of suffering a broad range of health conditions. It is one of the best ways of fortifying the health of the central nervous system. Exposing yourself to the sunlight every morning for about 10 minutes is enough to boost your body's nervous system and at the same time obtain enough vitamin D. Add meditation in your daily routine. Meditating is a smart way of calming and soothing your nerves. Nerves are responsible for the functioning of voluntary conscious responses and involuntary responses. Meditation helps regulate your heart rate, blood pressure levels, breathing rate, and calming all the sympathetic nerves. For the fifth is walk barefoot. In modern day, in modern day living, we have forgotten the most beneficial thing that can help the body connect with the earth. Strolling barefoot is the most significant instinct for mankind. This can aid nervous system and improve your health as well as physiology. Walking barefoot can further help in improving your sleep and strengthening your immune system. Some of the other benefits are reduced pain and inflammation, reduce the risk of heart disease, normalize biological rhythms, increase your senses, improves overall posture, influence the brain, lessen the severity of menstrual cramps. The sixth is drink green tea. Having a cup of green tea at least once a day is a great way of maintaining the heart of your nervous system. Rich in amino acid, green tea helps with serotonin levels. Besides, caffeine in green tea aids in increasing concentration, thinking ability, and focusing. It is also a great way of treating insomnia, diabetes, and Parkinson's disease. Seventh is food you eat matters. Eating a healthy diet not only aids in maintaining a proper weight and steering away a plethora of lifestyle diseases in check, but also in keeping the central nervous system in check. Foods like chia seeds, salmon, cauliflower, sardines, sprouts, and canola oil are also known to improve nerve transmissions. Adding them in your diet is an ideal option. Chocolates, almonds, and brown rice are also highly recommended. Some other foods that play a key role in strengthening your nervous system are beans, potatoes, banana, eggs, and beef liver. Additional tips: drink plenty of water as dehydration is not good for the nervous system. Put your body to exercise in order to maintain good nerve activities and function. Excess consumption of alcohol and smoking are harmful for the nervous system. Get your blood pressure checked regularly. Learn new ways to increase your attention. Make certain you intake adequate amount of healthy fats. Keep your weight in check and reduce in case you're obese. Use prescribed medicines. Taking up some healthy breathing exercise is also beneficial in maintaining the health of the nervous system. Protect yourself from traumatic situations. Get plenty of sleep every day. Eat small meats and regular intervals. Consume adaptogenic herbs. Decrease the intake of caffeine-rich drinks. Your nervous system demands and deserves as much attention as other parts of the human body. By adhering to these above-mentioned steps, you can easily maintain a healthy nervous system and even steer away from plethora of lifestyle as well as chronic diseases. Thank you.